Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to my completion of Low Death by KrmaL. This level took almost 2 months of on and off playing, with over 9,000 attempts spent. At the time of me making this video, it is actually a new hardest by 8 spots, according to the all-rated extreme demon list. Do I actually think it's harder than Black Blizzard? Honestly, not really. While Low Death is much longer, spanning over 3 minutes, Black Blizzard wins just in its sheer difficulty with timings. That's not to say that Low Death is easy though, because god, this level kicked my ass real bad. What makes it so hard? Well, let's go through the level real quick. The level starts with a fairly easy first cube, although the jump off of this pillar is kind of awkward since you need to get a good alignment with these pads, otherwise this will happen. Afterwards is a pretty easy ship part, followed by the drop with an asymmetrical dual wave where you could just spam through the middle, so it's not too big of a deal. Overall, this part isn't too bad, just a little awkward. Next is the ball part with some pretty tricky timings, but they get consistent pretty quickly. But next is where the first choke point reveals itself. Snowflake ship. Okay, so in this part you need to navigate through these snowflakes, but there's just one catch. Just one tiny thing with this part that makes it bad. So, common sense would tell you that each snowflake has a square hitbox or something, right? Well, no. In reality, the only part of the snowflake that actually has a hitbox is the vertical line slicing through it. I cannot express how annoying this is, because it just leads to a ton of deaths like this, or like this, or like this. Anyway, afterward, we have a pretty fun wave actually, followed by a blind jump. Why do you like this? So this next cube part is actually pretty easy, all things considered. It's just regular jumps that aren't super hard, but also aren't super easy either. Although, just don't jump in between these timings, otherwise,
What is this? What?
Next is a pretty iconic ship part where the gameplay itself is very simple, but then, this happens. Overall, it really isn't super bad, but just kills you from time to time. Afterward is this sort of consistency part. It's just super boring. Although, for some reason, this can happen, which I still don't know how it works to this day. So comments if you could tell me, please. Anyway, I want to skip forward a bit in the level to talk about this boss right here. So basically how this works is that the saws that get placed on your pathway are based on the position of the player. So my strategy was I chose to stay in the middle at first, but then navigate through the top. It's a little scuffed, but it did work. Next is a robot part that really shouldn't be that bad if it weren't for these two stupid, dumb clicks right here. So at first it might seem easy. It's just another one of those one block robot gaps, right? Well, yes, but if you click even slightly too much, then you physically cannot make the next jump. This is so incredibly annoying, basically forces you to do the tiniest micro click possible at 59% of the level, which, I don't know about you, but at that point I'd be starting to get a little nervous. Anyway, after that we have a slow but tight ship part that's nothing too bad, just takes a little bit of practice. And then we get into an easy cube part, and then into what I like to call the climax of the level. This ball part isn't too bad overall, although these two blue orbs gave me trouble for the longest time until I realized I have 2 hands. So with the power of double clicking, it made it easy. Next up is the ship part though. The transition into it is pretty tough with these 3 green orbs, and the rest of the ship also took a while to get used to, especially these portals right here. And to end off the level, we have a pretty easy wave, followed by a pretty tricky ball part. At first I was confused on how to do this part, but then I realized there's an invisible platform up here where you can just land on it and buffer your input to make it through this gap each time. Remember this specific detail, it will be important later. But anyway, that's Low Death. So overall, each individual section isn't that hard, but connecting it all together over the span of 3 minutes definitely is where most of the challenge comes from. So let's see how my progress went. My first session from 0 was, how do I put this? Ass. My best from that almost 2-hour session from 0 was 22%. That already was kind of demotivating, but I kept pushing. Next time I would get a new best, I actually wasn't even at my house. I was in history class at school. I was just there on my computer and miraculously during class managed to get 59%, dying to the stupid robot jump. My history teacher was going on about like free trade agreements and shit, but now we got low death geometry dash. This definitely boosted my motivation to play a little bit more, so my next session from 0 actually went a lot better. While I didn't get a new best, I did get 59% 2 more times. Honestly, I wasn't even that mad. My consistency was growing, and that's nothing to scoff at. However, after this, because of things like final exams and the stress that came with them, I had to take a break from low depth because, I don't know, I didn't want to fail the entire year just with the excuse of, oh, I was grinding a geometry dash level. But after the exams and after beating a few more bucket list demons, I finally came back to play low depth, and surprisingly, my consistency was better than it had ever been. I got 59 for the 4th time, then 62% shortly after, then 68 shortly after that. While 68 is kind of a stupid death, I was just glad to have some sense of consistency after not having played the level in a few weeks. I don't know, just nice to know that I didn't fall off. However, little did I know of what would happen the following session.
What? What? What?
97%. Now, remember what I said earlier about buffering on the invisible platform? Well, apparently there's a bug that happens, I don't know, like 1 in 20 times or something, where you just die for no reason if you do that. I was genuinely so pissed at this death. It was a fluke from 68 too, which would have been crazy, but nope. So I sat with discontent for 2 days until on June 26, 2025, I would do it.
Yes! Oh my god, yes! Yes! Oh my god, yes. Holy shit. Dude, finally. Oh my god, that took like 2 months. Oh my god, finally, dude. How many attempts? Alright, so holy fuck. 9162 plus 85. Okay, well that's not that much. So total attempt count 9,247. Great.
Thank you guys for listening to my Yap Fest, or if you just skipped the completion, that's fine too. This is kind of the start of me getting a ton of extreme demons off my to-do list. I still got a ton of others like Phobos, Allegiance, Blade of Justice, and Digital Descent, of course. So stay tuned, because we're going crazy this summer. Anyway, see you all next time.